A proposition is a declarative statement that is either true or false, but not both at the same time, right? So it can either be true or false, but it can't be true and false. And it has to be either true or false. It can't be also neither. So as an example, consider proposition 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So it's a declarative statement. It's saying something. And what it's saying is true. So this is indeed a proposition. The same with the proposition the number 7 is prime. So 7 is a prime number. So this is true. You could also have a statement like the sky is blue. This one might depend on the time of the day, whether it's true or false, but it is a proposition, so it will be either true or false, and it won't be both of them at the same time. It will not be the case that the sky is blue and that the sky is not blue. Another example, we could have something like the proposition 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. So once again, this is a declarative statement, which is false, but it's still a proposition. It's just a false proposition, right? And you can have something like another example. Let's say Clemson is in South Carolina. So the city of Clemson is in South Carolina, and so indeed, this is a true proposition. Now let's look at some examples of not propositions, so some non-examples. So these are not propositions. Consider this first one, x is larger than 3. So this is not a proposition because we don't know what is x. So here, what is x? There's no way for us to know whether this is true or false, or it doesn't have any, I mean, it's not even about us knowing, it just doesn't have a true or false value without x being specified. So of course, if x is equal to 5, then the statement is true, then it'll be true. And if x is equal to, say, 1, then it'll be false. But without saying something, then you just have no way of determining it, right? Another example is something like the statement, close the door. So this is not a true or false statement, right? It's an imperative, it's an order. You're just telling someone maybe to close the door, right? So another statement which is not a proposition, and it's actually quite a fun one, is this one here. So consider this statement is false. And so let's look carefully at this. So let's call this statement P, because it'll be easier to talk about it. So, and let's consider the possibilities here. So of course, if P is neither true or false, then it can't be a proposition because it has to be true or false, but not both. Now, what if P is true? So if P is true, then the statement, this statement is false, is true, which means that this statement is false. So this means that then P is false. So in this case, if P is true, P is also false. And so since propositions cannot be both, this would not be a proposition. Okay. Now the other possibility would be, well, what if P is false? Well, now, if P is false, then this statement is false, which means that this statement is true. But then P is true. And so once again, we get both. So if it's false, it also has to be true. So there's no way for this statement to be only true or only false. It would, if it's one of these, it has to be the other. And so since we can't have it being both, this cannot be a proposition, and this is known as a paradox.